This elephant spent 30 years neglected by a zoo until activists stepped up to set him free. Elephants are amazing creatures with huge brains and big hearts. Long-term studies have shown that the animals are self-aware, compassionate, and even grieve for their dead. Despite all this, some elephants in captivity are still treated with incredible cruelty, as exemplified by the conditions that a poor pachyderm called Kevin was forced to endure. In 1985, when he was just a year old, this Asian elephant was ripped away from his homeland in Sri Lanka. Instead of roaming free with his herd, then Kevin spent his whole life confined to a small enclosure at Islamabad's Murgazar Zoo in Pakistan. And even before his bones were allowed to grow properly, the sweet little elephant was thrown into servitude. Kevin's handlers forced him to carry children on his back and march them around his pen all day long, while the crowds cheered, unaware that they were a part of his shameful cycle of torment. Kevin lived alone in his pitiful prison until 1992, when the Murgazar Zoo, now officially the Islamabad Zoo, was given a female elephant from the Bangladeshi government. Normally, elephants in the wild can live for up to 70 years, but Sahili died at 22 years of age from an infection in the leg. Activists blamed the zoo's administration, the Capital Development Authority, CDA, for neglecting Sahili's needs and were appalled by their lackluster response to improve living conditions at Islamabad Zoo. And Sahili's death hit her companion Kevin hard, and his behavior changed. In particular, he started to bob his head repetitively from side to side, a behavioral tic called weaving, which is only seen in depressed elephants in captivity. Instead of treating his grief, however, the zoo staff made his situation even worse. Against expert advice to provide Kevin with another mate and better living conditions, his handlers chained the grieving elephant's legs. They claimed that this was to prevent uncontrollable behavior and to limit his potential to harm staff and visitors. Animal rights activists, meanwhile, campaigned to get Kevin's chains removed, and the huge public outcry moved Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif to speak up for the elephant. At first, the publicity forced the Islamabad Zoo to remove the chains, but within 3 months, poor Kevin was shackled again. And according to statements from previous employees, the elephant wasn't the only animal the zoo couldn't keep properly. The CDA management has no sense of running a zoo. Protests were once again made to free Kevin, but this time they seemed to be falling on deaf ears. That is, until Samar Khan's intervention in 2015. Khan, an American national originally from Pakistan, was visiting family when she heard of Kevin's situation and paid him a visit at the zoo. But the chains didn't seem to matter, because for the entire time I was there, Kevin didn't move. The only thing that moved was his head, as it bobbed repetitively from right and left, she wrote. I had no idea that the petition would go viral, but I wanted to use the huge number of Kevin's fans for a force for good. Kane told the website The Dodo in July 2016, we were able to recruit a team of volunteers who helped out on the ground in Islamabad. Finally, in September 2015, Kevin's chains were once again removed from his ankles, giving him free roam of his yet still unsatisfactory enclosure. To be sure, though, the Free Kevin team, as it came to be known, saw this as a successful first step in what might be an otherwise long road toward reaching their goal. For example, the zoo would often reshackle Kevin, but each time, volunteers were keeping close watch, would publicize Kevin's treatment, and get him unshackled again. Ultimately, the zoo had to capitulate because the team's observations confirmed that Kevin was in no way violent. Meanwhile, in July 2016, Faryal Gahar, head of communications for the Free Kevin team, took the elephant's case to the Pakistani Senate with the assistance of the Help Welfare Organization. When the Senate's verdict came in, the team couldn't believe their ears. Kevin was going to be moved to a sanctuary. The chairman of the Pakistani Senate has decreed that Kevin must be transferred to a sanctuary. I can't believe it. Khan told the Dodo after the decision had been made. I wrote Kaven's petition nearly a year ago with the hopes of just getting Kaven's story out there. I didn't know what to expect. I'm so grateful to our free Kaven team for working so hard. Together, we were able to accomplish what many told us was impossible, she added. There is one final vote left in the Senate on specifically which sanctuary to move Kaven to. The team is urging officials to support his relocation to the Four Paws International Charities large sanctuary being built on a Myanmar national reserve.